Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Crisis Protocol stream, Marvel Mondays. We're so happy you're here. If you're watching us live, welcome. And if you're watching this later on, whenever it goes up to YouTube and saved on Facebook and all of that, Twitch as well, we're happy you're here too, even though you're a little bit later than the live crowd. So last week, I streamed all of the movesets all by myself.
Yeah, sorry I left you in the lurch there.
It was exciting. It was kind of a monastic experience for me. But now we are going to do two things today. We're going to show you all of the team tactic cards. That's what this stream is about. We're going to go one by one and show you how all of these actually look on the table, read each of them, and give you an idea of what you might want to bring on your team. And then we're going to close the stream down, start a new one, and we're going to play our first full entire game, starting from drafting and having your pieces here, choosing the missions. We're going to do the whole thing from top to bottom after this. So stick around for that as well. So, Zach, did you see those moveset videos?
I saw two of them.
Which ones did you watch?
It's a lot to
America,
digest.
probably?
I definitely watched Captain America. It was also the first one you did.
Yeah.
So it popped up, and it was I clicked on the notification on YouTube that was like, Team Covenant posted new videos.
Good.
And then I saw that, and then I watched all of Spider-Man, and then I watched a couple minutes of a few others.
You feel like you have a better understanding now?
Definitely.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Good.
I need to watch all of them.
Yes, I have an advantage now because I know what all of these models do.
If you
At least I have the first taste of it.
In our game in a little bit, if you don't completely destroy me, I'll be shocked.
So on that note, the movesets were inspired by this desire to have an understanding of what the moving parts of the game are and all the little pieces and models, what they can do, so that we can start making actual good decisions about our turns and how we use the models that we have. Similarly, the team tactic cards add an additional layer of complexity to the game. So very much the same. We want to unpack that layer as well by running through all of the core set team tactic cards. Zach's going to be our hand and model and going to be demonstrating what these things look like on the board. I'm going to read the cards. We're going to work together to make sure that they actually show up correctly. And then we will know everything we need to know about the core set at that point, I think.
Everything. We'll be done, masters of the game, basically. No, I will say, like, it was really cool, even in the ones I saw. So Captain America, you were showing off, and that's why I think it's going to be good to show these. But I had, as playing Captain America, and there's a lot to digest this first couple games, didn't realize that you could throw a shield through buildings, or technically around buildings. And once you showed that, I was like, this is
around
so good.
a building and then to somebody back behind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane.
It's a magical shield.
Well, let's start with something that is kind of Captain America inspired. Avengers Assemble being the thing. So why don't you get a couple of Avengers out here and we'll show what this looks like.
Working on it.
It's an Avengers traded team tactic card, which means that you can only use it in a game whenever at least half, or I should say more than half of your team by model count is belonging to that faction.
Okay. So you have 5 models, you need 3.
It's not explicitly said, as I remember reading it, at least in the Learn to Play that we have, whether it's based on points or models, but I'm pretty certain it's only models.
I think it's model count.
Okay. So if you have at least more than 50%, at least more, what does it even look like as a math equation? If you have more than 50% of your team as Avengers, you can use this in your final build of your team. Now here's the interesting thing though. You can have this card as an option when you come into the game, but only take it if you end up having an Avengers-related team.
Sure, because you basically start with 10 models, and then you pick your list based on the scenario, based on what your opponent has. Then you also pick your tactic cards.
Right.
You get to bring 8 to the game.
You bring 8 to the game.
Or 8 to the event, or whatever you're doing. And then each game you choose 5 of those. So technically, you could have, at this point, there's Avengers and Cabal. So you could have enough models. You go 5 and 5 in the core set, right? It's 5 and 5.
That's very true.
And you could have both of those cards as options, and then if you happen to run Cabal, you can play that card, and so on and so forth.
Well,
so how does it work?
Let's start with Avengers Assemble. It is an active traded card, and it says any number of allied Avengers characters may spend 1 power to play this card. Characters that spent power advance a short distance.
Okay.
So let's look at it. I'll give you some power. Bag of tokens. Let's just assume that these models each have 1 power, because it's a perfect world for these models.
Because it worked out.
All right, so...
let's go ahead and put Crossbones on my team.
Yeah.
He's on my team.
Let's go ahead and pretend that at this point now, it doesn't say action. It doesn't say that you have to spend anything, so you can do this at any time. It's your turn.
It does say active
ability,
which is what that means.
So if you had this active ability, Zach, show me what that would look like.
So basically, on your turn, right, typically you get to activate a model. And your model can take a couple different actions. But in this case, this is a small movement template. So that's a pretty good distance. You can actually see we have a full 3x3 mat out here. But very quickly, you can just see how much movement is going to happen here. Like if you have that one card that lets you yoink another, we'll get to that in a minute. So you'd spend the power, and it's up to, right? So it's any number can spend, so they all don't have to. And I think when you are playing with objectives, this is particularly important.
It's super big.
Several times I would get like, not even a full movement away from the objective and be able to contest it. So really, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward card that just lets you move on when you typically wouldn't. And that's going to be good for like Baron Zemo, right? Was it Zemo with the strategic mastermind?
Strategic genius.
Strategic
it would be
genius.
good. He's not Avengers, so obviously he's never going to benefit from this
that's
particularly.
right.
But what you can
But
do
you can move
is
as Avengers next to him.
you can move things away. You can move things out of the way. Really good, like you said, for objectives. Standard movement, I mean, free movement across the board. It's not free, 1 power. Unexpected movement, I guess I would say, is always going to be great in a miniatures game. And your opponent knows that you have that card. So they have to kind of be aware that on your turn, at any point, you could have everybody move some degree.
Yeah.
Very hard to have plans whenever that's the case.
It's also one thing to point out about this card. I'll put the 2 template here, which is a pretty typical range of an attack.
It's almost close combat range for this game.
Yeah, so, Crossbones here, punching at 2. The ability to move all of your models 2 suddenly means he went from in a fight to...
Yeah, to running out.
Running out. So before, he could have potentially attacked Cap and Iron Man in the same turn, or Iron Man twice or whatever. Now he's going to have to spend one of his actions to move to do anything.
Yep.
So that ability to kind of like go capture an objective if you need to, or do whatever you need to, or also run, is they can just scatter with that card.
Very much. Okay, let's move on to Brace for Impact. This is an unaffiliated card and is reactive. If one or more allied characters would suffer a collision, they may each spend 1 power to play this card. Characters that spent power do not suffer damage from this collision. So Brace for Impact. So what this basically means is if you're going to collide with something, you play this card and then spend a power and you don't suffer any damage.
So very quickly, right, Captain Marvel and Spider-Man are pretty good at throwing things. So Spider-Man could grab the trash can and throw it at Marvel, or Marvel could grab the trash can and throw it at Spider-Man.
And this is probably the best use of the card, Marvel throwing Spider-Man into Captain America.
I was getting ready to say the better use is when it's model to model. So if you have 2 of your models, when, let's say Captain Marvel's throwing Spider-Man into Cap, technically, remind me on the throw rules, one of them suffers an automatic damage, right? Spider-Man suffers a damage.
The thing being thrown is going to automatically suffer a damage, and then Cap's going to have to make a dodge roll.
So in this case, how does this card read again?
It says if one or more allied characters would suffer a collision, they may each spend 1 to play this card. So my reading of that, my understanding of that is the moment that they would have a collision, that's before you roll the dodge roll, that's before you resolve it. You can't like wait and see like, oh, I wouldn't have taken damage anyway.
They each spend 1.
They each can spend 1, or you can only have Spider-Man spend 1 to avoid the 1 auto damage, and Captain could take it with the dodge roll.
And even just from the limited games we played, it was very clear that auto damage was pretty important sometimes.
Auto damage.
I get you down to 1 health.
Game of dice.
Let's just go get that free damage going here.
Game of dice.
So that's a really good card.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And it's one of those cards that probably is going to be useful every game. Like, no matter what, it's going to prevent at least 1 damage, maybe 2, maybe 5 if you just punt a dodge roll. So.
Yeah, and I could see some lists being very like heavy melee style lists, and then maybe they aren't throwing as much stuff or throwing as many people. But even the punchers, right? It's like sometimes the punch will get you, and it'll make you have to have a dodge roll.
I get the sense that this game is built a lot with an engine that wants terrain and models to be thrown around.
The game?
Yeah, I feel like that's a critical part of what's being brought to the table here is like Atomic Mass said, we want this to be an important part of the game is throwing terrain around. And so I do think that that's going to continue to be a pretty important
100%.
piece for most models.
Well, throwing the terrain and throwing into the terrain. Because in a lot of miniatures games that I've played, terrain is a feature, and it changes how you have to play. But like
it's usually
trees
just
are
line
like
of sight.
It's cover, or it's I can hide, or it takes more movement to go through the forest or whatever. But in this case, that's one of the best things about this game, is the interactivity of the terrain and the fact that all of the terrain can be picked up, thrown into, exploded, etc.
And we're fully aware that Doctor Strange is going to create terrain as an ability, right? That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about designing Doctor
just guessing.
Strange in a game, and it's like, that's a challenge. Excited to see it, though.
Let's look at Cosmic Invigoration is next. This is a Cabal
I was
ability.
wondering why you put Skull out there.
So you have to have at least, I will say
going.
that for the rest of my life, you have to have more than 50% of your force as Cabal affiliation. It is active. If Red Skull is within 2 range of another allied character with an activated token, they may spend 2 power each to play this card. So let's just go ahead and set this up. This, let's say Crossbones is here. Crossbones has been activated. And let's say both of these characters have 2 power to spend.
Okay.
Okay. So this is our ideal scenario. Remove the activated token from the allied character and roll 3 dice for each wild, crit, and hit roll. That character suffers 1 damage.
Wow.
So I play Cosmic Invigoration. Both of these characters spend 2. The activated token is removed, essentially giving a brand new turn to Crossbones. And you want to see if that was a good decision or not?
I'm good at rolling.
Boom. Takes 1 damage. Not
So
a big deal. And I think for Crossbones, he could even take a power to
and get rid of that.
not take that damage. Yeah.
So that's one of the most powerful cards that I've seen in the tactic cards. The ability to you're going to have 3 to 5 models, assuming they're all around on any given turn. So if you have 4 models, if you get an extra activation, that's like 25% more turn.
Yeah, and remember the way that the turns like flip-flop or don't flip-flop, you can change that order.
Who gets to go first,
and
right?
it could definitely change things. That's a really nice ability. And I think the key thing with this is it doesn't have to necessarily be on Red Skull's turn.
Sure.
It's just if Red Skull was within 2, so as long as you're taking a turn and those conditions are met, all of a sudden it's like, oh, just because I waited to see what my opponent did, now I think it's a good decision to give Crossbones this new activation.
Yeah.
And now I have a clear path to destruction.
And I can easily see as like what would have been your last action of the turn if your opponent just went, and then actually getting to go twice. That's brutal. Like that's just
some Transformers tech there.
that's really really tough.
There's another Cabal affiliated card here, Dark Rain. Active as well. Any Cabal character may spend 3 power to play this card.
That's
so
a
let's
lot.
say it's Red Skull.
But any of your cards can do it.
Any Cabal characters
Yeah,
can, yes.
okay.
Choose an enemy character. Allied Cabal characters may reroll any number of attack dice when attacking the chosen character this round.
So in that case, let's say you have Cap over here, off by himself.
There is no range on this card.
Wow.
Choose an enemy
So
character.
let's say you have Red Skull over in the corner.
Yeah.
Playing safety on this.
He's playing Bounty Hunter here.
This is the objective, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you got Doc Ock coming and Crossbones coming. We got Zemo rolling, and then it's like, I'll just pay 3, and he doesn't even have to be going, right?
No, it just says active. And let me.
Yeah,
look
you want
up
to
and
verify
make
that because
sure,
that might mean he has to be the active model.
I don't think so, because it doesn't even have his name in the card. How would you ever know? How would you ever know?
Well, it's
but
just whoever the active model is, right?
yeah, it says any Cabal character may spend 3 to play this card. Maybe so. Maybe so. I think you might be right on that.
I'm not really staking a claim on it as much as you're saying. It's possible this is the case.
Are you sure? Okay, denotes when the card can be played. A player may play active team tactic cards at any time during their turn.
Okay.
A player may play reactive team tactic cards only when the listed trigger condition is met and only once per triggering event.
I'm into it. All right.
So I don't see anything
So-
about that in here.
You basically, Red Skull over here safe in the corner, spends 3 power, and then he says, Captain America, I hate you.
Captain Jabimbo,
Captain,
you're gone.
Yeah, that's right. So then all of your Cabal characters get a reroll. How many?
They may reroll any number of attack dice when attacking the chosen character this round.
So that could be a lot.
Let's just say that there's a perfect scenario in this exact scenario.
And Cap's already gone.
And this is the Cap's gone, then Red Skull goes and says, rerolls against Cap. And then all of these, potentially, that's 6 attacks that could get rerolls. Isn't that insane?
That's really crazy.
2 per.
Well, especially because we were talking about this last time too, where in the game there's not an active reroll built in. So like X-Wing, you don't have a focus to change dice or a target lock. So the ability to just call out a model and say, we're coming at you. Even the reality of like, if I call that model out before you've gone with it, you do not want that character to end
Yeah, you
up.
kind of got to run away, or
Yeah,
at least
it's
you
just-
feel like you've got to run away.
You're kind of headhunting there.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's a fun little card.
I also like it because it's a way to leverage like your incremental advantage over the course of the game at like the last turn or the turn before to just say like this one attack, I just need 1 reroll on this one attack to try to make, so I've done better, I've got more power and I'm on the same like level as my opponent, right?
You just bury him.
And
with
so
this.
boom, I'm gonna reroll these dice to kind of like, clinch this game right at the last moment. I really like that
I like those
idea.
kind of cards.
Let's look at Disarm. It's an unaffiliated active card. You play it on your turn. When 2 allied characters are within 3 range of the same enemy character, the allied characters may spend 1 each to play this card. So let's set this up. Give me 2 allies
it.
within 3 of the same enemy.
All right, we got Cap and Spider-Man on different sides of the enemy. But of course, I'm going to go ahead and put Cap over here.
Yeah.
He's within 3. Spider-Man's within 3 of Doc Ock. So what happens next?
All right, they're within 3. So they need to spend 1 each to play this card.
Okay.
The enemy character rolls 2 fewer dice on all attacks this round to a minimum of 1. So what they're doing basically, we say we're going to disarm Doc Ock.
Yep.
They both spend 1 power, and now Doc Ock is disarmed. I don't even know if we have like a token for it, but I'll just put like a, hey, look at me. I feel like that's relevant. It's literally an octopus with a skull on it.
The old Hydra?
Yeah. So now I'm disarmed. I'm going to get -2 to every single attack that I roll.
I love that card.
Absolutely love it.
Like, -2 dice is brutal.
I like these team tactic cards that are just always good. Right? When is that? When
Yeah.
you're not going to want that?
Well, the only time you don't is when you don't have 2 models in range of an enemy, which is basically never.
Yeah, you've already lost.
Yeah. If this
Okay.
is a condition that's met, you're probably not doing so well.
I like that
But
one.
you know, the interesting thing about this, we were talking about this, is why I'm excited to play the full game, which is we started with just on the small little map fighting each other. And then we added objectives, and then after we were done, we were like, what if we just didn't fight? Like, what if we just leaned heavy into the objectives? So this is really good if you assume fighting is important.
Yeah, or like if you want to say, you're holding that and your opponent knows it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to try to get up into the fray, they can respond by the next activation they take, just disarming you. And then it's like, well, I went up here so that next turn I could really like, make something happen, and it isn't going to work.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Let's talk about drop-off. Look at this. Wow, this is a big one. There's a lot to this here.
It looks like a big block of text.
Yeah.
Read me a
big
tale.
block. Actually, you know what? Disarm I like the most to just say, what's your best model? Let's just turn it off. Hey, it's amazing. These games go deep.
To do it, you have to obviously get 2 of your models within range of that model, and then they still haven't gone.
Do you remember in so many of our games, like you would get in a scenario and we'd be in a scrum basically, and then that next turn, the first model activates, and it really matters what they do.
Yep.
And it's like if my first activation is turning off your model, that is like the 5 health Captain America that is about to wreck me, and all my guys are 1 health. It's like,
And then, think about Cap with a shield throw.
yeah.
It's like how many attacks, and then even thinking about the drop-off thing I did with Cap last time, I got like 3 or 4 attacks in 1 round with Cap. But that's where I picture,
I like that a lot, actually.
this is maybe
I thought I was done with it, but I'm
you're
still
not.
thinking about it.
Let's say Cap's here against Doc Ock, and Spider-Man's over here, and he's got like a long move, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if your first activation is Spider-Man comes in here, Spider-Man attacks, and then you drop that card.
Disarm.
It's like, disarm. Now you're also -2.
That's good.
That's really nice. It's
Like
particularly because
Hulk, like
100%.
disarm Hulk. How can you disarm him? He's only arms.
He is literally all arms.
Let's talk about drop off. When an allied character with flight begins a move action within 2 of another allied character of equal or smaller size. So let's set that up. So Iron Man has flight.
Yep, I love Iron Man throwing Cap around.
Captain America is of equal or smaller size, and the size is on the cards themselves. So size 2, size 2. All good?
Yep.
It's not under there. You would paint it, though. I think most people would paint it under there.
Well, and you can tell from the size of the base.
They may spend 1 each to play this card before moving the miniature. All right,
so Iron Man's about to move.
He declares a move action.
Then they each spend 1.
That's right. When the active character ends this move, place the allied character within 1 range of it.
And I believe Iron Man's move is medium?
Yeah, that sounds right. The placed character may immediately perform one of its attacks that has a listed cost of 0.
So here's my favorite maneuver in the game. Let's say it's like this.
Yeah, Iron Man's a medium.
So Iron Man moves, and then I place Cap within 1.
Which is
the side of the template. So let's say Cap goes, you can really cover some distance here. Goes here. Then he gets to immediately make a 0-cost attack. So my favorite is the shield throw.
Yeah, what is the range on that? Shield throw range is 4.
So let's say this is
Man, you
actually...
can drop off the old homing
look at
missile
this
here.
thing. Over here. And then it goes even further. Because if you hit the shield throw, and you get the wild, the bounce off of that's a 3. So let's go here. So Cap literally just went from here, because in its extreme, it has to be within 1 of in the beginning. So they got
within 2.
All right, let's just show this thing off fully. All right, so we got this thing.
This is a normal, there's no way Ultron can take damage here, right? He's safe.
I mean, it's literally almost as far across the board as possible.
Yeah.
And then it's, all right, let's check. He's within 2. Iron Man moves. Let's get Cap. He goes within 1.
You can toss him up. Yeah.
Boom. Shield throw.
Within 4.
And this isn't even the attack of Iron Man or Cap. So Cap maybe gets this attack, shield throw wilds into Ultron. They both took damage. And then Iron Man's still going. But then, next action, right? Cap's going to get a go.
Take a
So
turn.
then, like, he gets his move, and now he's basically just crossed the entire board. Like, it's crazy.
Now, or the other thing you can think of is there's a number of amazing ways that this can be used, right? So these zero-cost attacks, everybody has one that gives them power, right? If they hit, if
I
they
just
do
thought of the
damage.
best thing in the world, but yeah, go ahead.
So, like, if you have a model that has already activated, Iron Man can come in, let's say Cap's already activated, come in, give him the opportunity to make an attack to get power back that he can then spend on defensive abilities,
100%.
right? So that's a good, or fly him out of danger.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You can rescue him, right? Where it's like, let's go and then throw. But I also recognize that Iron Man has flight, Captain America doesn't.
Yeah.
So in the same way.
Put him on the building.
Yeah. Well, it's like Iron Man could have been here with Cap over here. And it's like, this now really looks like Ultron safe. But like, this lets you get Cap
That's
over
superhero stuff there.
the building, right?
Yeah.
Like you're tossing him. It's crazy. Same
That's
way with
superhero
backwards too,
stuff.
right?
Wow. I like that a lot now.
That's one of my favorite cards.
And there's a decent number of people with flight, right? Captain Marvel, I'm just doing this based on my assumptions. Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Ultron. Anybody else fly on this board? Black Widow didn't fly.
Nope.
No, that's it. Flying's strong.
Flying is good.
So watch out for this one.
Unless you're in Thrones, and then it's no longer a tactical advantage.
Get this gorgeous... Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
D&D.
for dropping
Sorry,
that
there's still
in.
salt in the wound. I don't know. It's hard
Anyone on chat?
Everyone's
What's up,
on chat.
everybody? Hey, we got a lot of folks
Yeah,
coming
someone,
in. Hi.
Dark Prince says drop off is meta.
Yeah,
I agree.
Dang right.
It's the jam.
How about Escort to Safety, a version of drop-off?
Probably less
Unaffiliated
good, though.
and reactive.
Okay.
When an enemy character targets an allied character, another allied character within 3 may spend 3 to play this card.
Okay. Let me get 3.
So who's our enemy and who's the ally being targeted?
So Crossbones is going to punch Captain America.
Okay. Push the targeted allied character toward the other allied character a short distance. So let's do something.
What's
like
the
this,
range on that?
Within 3. So you have to be within 3 of the.
That works.
Oh yeah. So move Captain America toward, and remember this is our cool right angle, right? So we can do we don't have to worry about this directly toward nonsense. And
Oh
all
yeah,
that,
it's really
right?
nice. So
So you can
it
like
spends
scoot
3 on
him out
this?
here. Yep,
All right,
spins
so
3.
spends
yeah.
3. And then, so the way this works is you make a right angle with the movement template, and then this positions towards
The
that.
front of their arc, technically the line at the very front middle of the arc should be lined up with the very middle of that.
So we'll get it about
angle.
right there. So that's a short distance. So because Crossbones is here, I'm actually going to take Cap this way. And as long as it's within this right angle, then we're good.
Yep.
But obviously now there's a problem because Crossbones range is a...
At the end of the
2.
push, if the targeted character is outside the attack's range or the attacker's line of sight, the attack action ends.
Okay.
If it is the attacker's activation and the attack did not target multiple characters, they may make another action. That's interesting. So it doesn't necessarily take their action away.
But it does take that attack away. So if that was their last action, they would have to move to get in range now.
Now, if it targeted multiple characters, like let's say you come up here
They'd have
and
to
try to
punch
hit
whatever.
3, you can pull Cap out and they just hit 2 now.
Yeah.
So it still works. But otherwise, they make another action. So that's actually quite fascinating. I was a little bit worried that somebody holding this card would create a really annoying game state where you just have to go up and burn one wasted attack, like miniatures games. That's kind of annoying.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
But if you did have to, like, in this case, right, let's say put Cap back here. If Crossbones has to move to get to Cap and then swing, it's like now Cap moves. And so you only have 1 action left. So then it does burn your attack, but at least you can, like, go back.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah,
do
100%.
something else. Yeah.
All right, that's fascinating. All right, well, there you go. So you'd have to, like, move again and set it up. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay, Escort to Safety. That's fun. That's a good one. Is that always going to be useful? You think you'd take that?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, I mean, I think movement in an objective-based game is probably the premium resource. So any of these that do movement or movement of models, I'm probably going to want at least 3 or 4 of those in my 8-card stack.
We'll also have to look, too, I think some lists will be better at generating power than others.
Sure.
So some of these higher cost cards might be better in those kind of rich lists.
3's a lot.
3's a lot. I mean, a Red Skull generates 3, and he's kind of the biggest generator in the game that I've seen.
Yeah, and he seems like the kind of guy that would do an escort to safety.
Yeah, right? Really good dude. Follow Me, unaffiliated, reactive card. The active character may spend 6 power to play this at the end of its activation.
Wow.
Choose another allied character within 3 of the active character. They immediately activate.
What? Cost 6?
Cost 6.
So let's just do this right. It's called Follow Me.
This is Red Skull, by the way. Red Skull takes this card every time.
Red Skull needs a Hulk, is what Red Skull needs.
I had it last time, and I just...
Well, you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
You'll get another shot at glory.
I should learn how to roll those dice.
So it got 6. It's worth noting that 6 power is a lot.
That's a lot.
That is not a... I had 6 on characters sometimes, but it's definitely not an all-the-time condition. Red Skull, probably.
Or you just got beat up.
Let's put out Iron Man and Cap. You took over my Hulk, so you're Red Skull. This is pretty bad. So you spend 6, and basically it's letting...
Choose an allied character within 3 of the active character.
All right, Hulk's there.
Okay. The chosen character immediately activates. Doesn't take an action. It immediately activates. It means it gets 2 actions.
If it's already activated, can it activate again?
That's a great question.
I don't think it can.
I don't think it can.
So this is really action suppression more than it is anything else.
Or compression. Suppression makes me think that I'm getting less actions.
Yeah, that's right. Words are hard for me.
I think that's the Netrunner. We called it compression, I think. All right, let me look. I think we covered this last time, right? An activated character cannot activate again unless explicitly we are told that.
So you're basically, I feel like this is really expensive for that ability then. Getting to go twice in a row is nice.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. How many times in a game do they have, let's say, they've got a model that is close to being dazed, and you, by activating again, can deny them their activation because you knock their model out before it gets to go?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, in a game where you really know what you're doing, 2 activations of a character or 2 characters in a row attacking the same model should be able to daze them.
Any character.
I think so.
If it's set up right.
I mean, if I get 2 in a row, 4 actions, a move, attack, or a move, attack, attack.
That's really what you should be doing.
And if they have 3 or 4 health, I mean, you should absolutely be knocking them out.
And that is even more action economy, basically, because it's like they're now down 1 if you daze them before they go.
Yep.
It's also like if you have Hulk with 1 health left, then the ability to go with Red Skull and get max value out of Hulk is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But it's still 6 is steep. That's the most expensive one we've seen.
I think it's going to be a little, I don't know. I mean, you're always going to find, well, you won't always find a way to use this because you might always have 6 power. That's going to be the question. Can you get 6 power?
If you're consistently playing a character or 2 that you expect to have 6 power, this is an extremely powerful card. Plus, it's got this sweet Iron Man Captain America.
It's great art.
So
They're all great art on the back there. Heave Ho. Let's look at this unaffiliated active card.
I really love this art.
If 2 allied characters are within 2 of the same interactive terrain feature, here's our terrain feature. Can you get me 2 allied characters within 2 of the same feature?
All right, Black Widow, Iron Man.
Give me and they can be essentially within they could be on opposite sides of it too. They just have to be on the same feature, yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
So they're basically like picking up the trash can together? Or the
Looks
dumpster?
like they may spend 1 each to play this card, so let's give them 1 each. You got one over there?
I got them.
Choose one of the characters to throw the terrain feature medium.
So it's important to remember when you're throwing a terrain feature, you're throwing it from the model.
Mm-hmm.
So we choose one. Let's say it's Iron Man. He's got the suit ready to power up. They basically each spend 1, and he picks this up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's tossing this at someone.
That's right.
And it's a medium, so let's just check out the medium range.
It's significant. So they could just toss that one nearly to Hulk.
Yeah.
So they could definitely toss it to Red Skull.
Let's just do this. Now, if this happens, and they're both within, you're tossing it at a model, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he tosses it, let's say at Hulk, and it cruises along the straight line until it collides with something, right? So then it hits Hulk,
Yep.
and he has to make a dodge or whatever.
Yep, he has to make a dodge roll equal to 1 plus the size of the terrain feature.
Yeah, now probably better yet than that is like if Hulk was over here, and Iron Man was over here. Doesn't look like he can get hit with a garbage can.
He can't. There's no way.
Until Iron Man cruises up.
Right.
Now they're both within this. You play the card, Heave Ho. Let's toss the... Oh, I'm not tossing Iron Man. Tossing the dumpster at Hulk.
And it gives every character a way to throw something.
Which
so
is good,
if it's
because they
not on
don't
their
all have
card,
it.
Yep. And then it also gives you a way to throw something, and it may not be either of their activations. So like if it's just some point...
I like that.
If it's just some point in your turn and you're doing Captain America, you walk up here, hit Red Skull, he's got 1 health left. Now we play the card, have these 2 team up to try to throw this at Red Skull.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if he was like...
Way
right
more
here.
clever than I.
Yeah, so that's like, oh, surprise 1 or 2 damage right there could be a game changer.
Definitely.
Heave Ho.
Nice.
Boom.
That's good. I like that card better than I thought I did.
How about an inspiring monologue? It's an active,
Who's on the back of this card?
unaffiliated.
Can you tell me? Oh, Thanos. Yeah, of course.
Any allied character may spend 3 to play this card, so that makes it nice. Let's say it's Iron Man. What do you think?
All right. I don't know what's happening yet, but
Choose another allied character. That character may reroll any number of its defense dice this round.
You have to play it. Oh, this round for the rest of that round.
Yep.
Not like my action, your action, but like for every action this round.
For the whole round.
Reroll 2 defense dice.
Reroll any number of its defense dice this round.
So I'm going to go on record here, and I'm going to say one thing. My prioritization of the cards I want in my stack. 1 is movement. 2 is rerolls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta have rerolls.
Straight up.
Yeah. So any allied character can play this. You have to play it on your turn, so it's not in reaction to taking damage or getting rolled against.
But someone's out there in the middle of a bunch of characters, and it's like, all right,
that one. Reroll all defense.
I'm giving you a monologue.
Yep.
Go get this.
I love that. I love that so much.
That's pretty thematic.
I want Crossbones to play it so badly. It's like I want to know what that monologue sounds like.
He sounds like a monologue kind of guy.
Mission objective: unaffiliated active. An active character holding an asset or civilian token. Let's give you
cell phone.
Here's a civilian.
All right, let's say. Let's grab something. Captain Marvel has a civilian.
Yeah, and make sure she has 2 power as well.
She does.
Okay.
Isn't that magic?
May spend 2 to play this card.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's a reactive version of this as well. So there's an active version, which is play 2 actively.
That's
and
cool.
There's a reactive, which is when you would drop an asset or a civilian token, you can spend 2 in response to that.
Okay.
And no matter how you play it on your turn or as a reactive ability, it says, place 1 asset or civilian token held by this character on another allied character within 2. So you pass it 2. The other character is now holding the token. It does not allow a character to hold more tokens than the crisis specifies.
Okay. So as an example, if she would lose this civilian, instead she can pay 2, and she tosses the civilian over to Black Widow.
That's right.
Which is very...
Or actively, if it's her turn, she can move up here, pay 2, not in action, to give it to Iron Man, and then move up into the fray.
Yeah,
right?
That's really nice.
Yeah. So 2 good uses for that card, and I think this is probably, this strikes me as the kind of card that when you get really good at the game, it's going to be in every list.
Well, like the objective we were playing on was, I found the Kree operative very quickly, and you almost knocked it out of Cap's hands. But like if I'd been able to toss it over, that makes that play, a whole line of play, way less good for you.
And I've got to wait and see, like, okay, you don't have 2 power, now is the time to strike, or like if I
'cause you'll
train
know I
those
have it
2
in my
power, it's great.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. 1-2 punch, good art on this. Unaffiliated and reactive. When the active character targets an enemy character with an attack, and the target character is within 2 of another ally, set me up that scenario.
I'm setting it up. It's got to be Cap on this one.
All right, who's the active character?
Captain America.
All right, and targeting Red Skull,
Yep.
and within 2 of another allied character. Those allied characters may spend 1 each to play this card.
All right, so I'll put some power here.
Add 2 dice to the attack roll.
All right, so basically Cap's attacking, they each spend 1, and he gets +2 attack dice.
Yep.
Pretty strong.
Yep. As long as the target's within 2. I mean, it could be, you know, you could be within 2 over here.
Oh, the target has to be within 2. I thought that they had to be within 2 of each
Isn't
other.
that great? It makes it way better. And that's the kind of the tricky thing with these cards is like actually going through your head like, okay, within 2 of the target character, so that means...
That's why we do it, eh?
Right there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he's kind of 1-2 punch. He's in the middle of them. He's
I
about
love
to get beat
that.
up.
This is just like...
Fundamentals, good card.
funnies.
This is a Crossbones card, by the way.
It's totally funny. You put that, I mean, how many... there's a couple of characters that have rerolls built into their attack rolls. I mean, +2 to something that you get a reroll on.
Yeah. You do know, I feel like you're leaning towards this, like, Crossbones, Baron Zemo.
Yeah, I want the rejects, basically.
thing. Well, Crossbones, Baron Zemo, Red Skull are kind of like the classic Cap trio.
I don't care anything about Red Skull. Doc Ock, though. Love me some Doc Ock. Patch up, unaffiliated active ability. Choose a non-dazed ally. Another allied character within 2 of the chosen character may spend up to 5 to play this card. I'm going to guess I know what that means.
All right.
So let's say that Crossbones is injured. Has
he's
4
hurting.
damage.
He's almost knocked out.
And let's say we have anyone within 2, any ally within 2 can play this card.
So
show me the max distance on this.
You know, Red Skull's hanging out back here. Ultron's hanging out over here.
All right. Remove damage from the chosen character equal to the amount of power spent. So
They
you
can spend up to 6?
Up to 5.
Okay, so they could almost fully heal most characters.
Boom. So Red Skull spends 4 power. Damage gone. Extremely frustrating. I would run this in Crossbones, I feel like, every time.
I definitely feel like Red Skull is the kind of... He's one of the main characters. I haven't really looked at Ultron. One of the main characters in the core set, though, that has enough power to play these big ones.
Yeah.
So that's where, like, I'm picturing really Crossbones plus someone with a lot of power. It's like, that's so frustrating.
You probably do need the Red Skulls to contribute there. Ricochet Blast.
Ah, yeah.
This is an actual attack now, an energy attack printed on this Team Tactic card. 4 range, 7 dice, 0 power. If it's Iron Man's activation, this is like a King's Quest ability here.
This is probably my favorite tactic card.
If you have the rattle and you can shake this snake out of the way of the path, if it's Iron Man's activation, he's within 4 of an allied Captain America.
Explicitly. Does it say a Captain America?
Allied Captain America.
Not the Captain America?
Not the Captain America.
I can't wait till we get the other caps.
They may spend 2 power each to play this card.
The most ridiculous.
All right, so there's 2. Here's Ultron. Ultron the target here?
We're just going way downtown. Yeah, watch this. It's about to get crazy.
Oh, you know what you're doing. While within 4 of Captain America, Iron Man may use the Ricochet Blast attack shown above once this activation. Range and line of sight are measured from Captain America instead of Iron Man when making the attack.
And the range is 4 from Cap?
Yeah, let's just... dude, here's your... let's assume that...
This is where I was going with it.
Yeah, it's like... I like this kind of thing even better.
Yeah. Does he have to be able to see him? I assume so.
Within 4.
And within doesn't care about line of sight?
I don't think so. Oh, wait. Nope. Doesn't say. While within 4 of Captain America, Iron Man may use the Ricochet Blast attack shown above once this activation. Range are measured from Captain America instead of Iron Man when making this attack. Iron Man may reroll any number of attack dice during this attack.
So you're saying Iron Man can blast the beam from here, off of Captain America's shield, into Ultron?
Yes.
Which
or
is
even,
anybody.
Ultron, wherever Ultron is. Anything within 4.
The crazy thing to me about this is, like, most technically, right? It's like if Ultron's over here, and you just look, this is a full board.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the distance this attack can cover, because this is normally the longest attack, which could get nowhere near Ultron with Iron Man.
It's absolutely sick.
The ability to bounce the beam off of this into this.
I mean, if you want to think about line of sight, it's like Cap throws his shield up, Iron Man blasts it, and then it ricochets down.
How good.
You
just got me so excited.
I've got a story for everything. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good, Steven.
That's superheroes. We're playing comic books.
We're playing the books. I'm just going to put this over the side. I should have been doing this all the
I
time.
see somebody asking about pre-orders. You want to address that?
There it is. Let's address, Peter Stalker, let's address the elephant in the room. Have our Marvel Champions pre-orders shipped yet?
They're shipping. They're shipping.
They're processing. We can't break street date.
All of them will ship out by midweek this week.
If you're in the U.S., you should probably have it by Friday.
Most of them should arrive on release date.
And if
Whatever
you're
that means
anywhere near
these days.
Tulsa, you should be at Covenant Tulsa this weekend. It's going to be a good time.
Let's talk about sacrifice. Unaffiliated and reactive. If an allied character is within 2 of another allied character and is targeted by an enemy attack, those allied characters may spend 1 each to play this card.
I love it.
Who's our attacker?
Ultron's about to just smoke Spidey.
Okay. And Spidey and Captain America are here.
Yep.
Those allied characters may spend 1 each to play
it.
this card. The non-targeted allied character immediately becomes the new target of the attack, regardless of range and line of sight.
Ultron goes to punch Spider-Man. Captain America says no thanks, blocks it.
And it cannot add additional defense dice to its defense roll and cannot modify its dice during the attack. So that's a good. You can't super sponge it.
Can't
They're smart.
super block it, but you can do,
tell they played
like,
miniatures games a lot.
if you had Crossbones, he can cancel the damage he would take with his power. If you have Cap, he can do the thing to get more dice. You just can't reroll or modify those dice.
It says cannot add additional defense dice.
Oh,
So you can't use anything that makes you awesome at defense, basically. It's all natural.
Yeah,
You gotta
makes
go.
sense. It's like, I'm going to jump in the way.
Yep. You don't have time to get fancy about it. You can't even hold up a shield.
I'm going to put that in my maybe pile for a game in a minute.
Second wind, Avengers only on this
Yeah.
one. Active ability, any number of allied Avengers characters may spend 1 to play this card. Now, there's something I've noticed. Have you noticed this as well? These Avengers cards are all about the entire team doing something together.
Yeah.
As is the Avengers ability on Captain America. Everybody gets that -1 discount. So that's they're playing like a team.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then the kind of like Cabal villain side cards, right? It's like someone's really powerful, and they help out one thing.
It does seem that
It's like
way.
they let you go an extra activation, or they heal a specific model.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, I think we've seen Cabal, we've seen Avengers. I assume we'll get stuff like the Defenders or the various little like subgroups in this thing. They're not really factions in a traditional sense because you can play any 10 bring any 10 models to the game you want. But I do like that they have these like synergistic, and not only is it synergistic, but there's an identity to it. Where like I assume that Cabal won't get cards that feel like the Avengers style cards. Yeah.
And I would also say that these cards don't seem like they're just more powerful. It's just that you have access to these tools if you run that faction or that affiliation. Characters that spent power, remove the stun special condition and remove 1 damage.
Stun is not dazed.
Stun is not dazed. Stun is the one where they can't gain more than 1 power, no matter what.
So they each spend 1.
They heal 1 and they remove stun.
And that's all they do.
Yeah.
But it's the whole team.
It's the whole team. Anyone who spends 1 power can do
Are there
it.
any, do we have like...
Or it's the Avengers on your team, I should say.
Yeah,
Avenger characters. Yeah.
Are there any characters that, from your movesets, now that you're the expert, that have like a mass stun ability?
Yeah, I think Red Skull's got that one where he drops everyone within 1 gets stunned. I'm almost certain that he hasn't. I'll verify that. Okay, let's look. Unleash the Cube, Reality Warp. After this attack is resolved, the target character and character within 1 gain the stun special condition.
Nice. There it is. You knew.
You knew. We all knew. We're learning together. Here you go, second one.
Also, most importantly...
Yeah, great cap art. Huh?
Yep. Let's just put that over here in the pile.
Smash! Unaffiliated active team tactic card. If the active character is within 1 of an interactive terrain feature that is small, we gotta get Hulk in.
Yeah, get him in here.
Okay. Within 1 of an interactive terrain feature, which is actually a very small distance. Like
he's got to get in there. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes sense. He's got to get up there.
Yeah, you gotta.
Because he's about to do some fun stuff with it.
It's got to be a smaller size than the character, and they may spend 2 power to play this card.
So like these light lampposts and stuff are 1s, right?
Yeah, they
they're
say 1
1s.
there.
So like Cap could break this thing in half and use it as a weapon, basically. But Hulk's gonna get the dumpster and rip it in half.
And Hulk, Hulk's 4, right?
Yeah, he's size 4.
Yeah, Hulk size 4, and then Ultron is 3, I believe is the only other one.
Yeah, Doc Ock too, right? Isn't
He's
he a
on a
3?
bigger base, but I think he's only a 2.
Is he on a bigger base?
Yeah, because he's only size 2, but he's on a bigger base.
Why?
He's the only exception.
Why?
So I think his size is small, but he's got arms aplenty.
they had to put the arms on the base.
Well, that's kind of why he sprawls out.
That makes
a
sense.
little
He's
bit
not a huge character there compared to like Ultron or Hulk.
So anyway, what happens? The terrain feature is
He could've
destroyed
fit on a small base.
and removed from the battlefield. Add a number of dice to the active character's attack. This activation equal to the size of the terrain feature.
So he basically, this is a 2, right?
The real use for this is Hulk smashing that Daily Bugle. Daily Bugle's a 3.
Is he a 4?
He's a 4.
Holy moly. So if he's here, holy moly, macaroni. So he can pick up the bugle, tear it in half.
Yep.
And then what's he doing with
He
it?
adds number of dice equal to the size. So he adds 3 attack dice to the next attack.
My. And that costs him how many power?
It's 2 power to use it, and then it's every attack that you do that turn. And it doesn't take an action to use this card. So if you start next to the Daily Bugle, like this, if we're attacking Captain
He could
America,
just slam.
smash it, and then 2 attacks
Or
at plus
smash,
3.
depending on the word
Yeah.
you want to choose there. That makes sense. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Really awesome.
I dig it.
Sucker. I thought this was bad, but it's actually good. Unaffiliated and active. When 2 allied characters are within 3 of the same injured enemy character. So let's get an injured... do we have an injured token? I don't even know what that...
It's probably that, like, falling guy.
No, that's the other one. I had them all. I actually looked them all up. I don't know if we have an injured one. We could... That's a dazed. Anyway, so let's assume that Spider-Man is injured, shall we?
And give me just a random...
This looks... maybe it's this one. You think it's
can't.
that thing?
That's the Hydra Avengers
You're
token.
right. It's not bleed.
We can use the Hydra one, though. That's fine.
Here, use this.
All right.
I need to take a potion.
He's got a potion. He's been in the lab. What's up? What, is he injured?
2 allied characters within 3 of the same injured enemies.
What does injured mean? He says
injured
damage?
means that you have been... oh, I thought it meant that you've been dazed. And now you're
It's
back in your injured form.
That is your injured form.
Yeah.
There is no token. It's
Okay,
just,
you just look
state.
at the other side of the board.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, so Spider-Man is injured. Hold on, for the cameras, we got to show it off. And this is happening. Injured.
Yeah,
Torn
if you
up.
look, normal side, blue. Andrew side, red and all torn up costume.
Yeah.
Slash, not a costume. It's a.
Outfit, uniform.
There's a better word for it.
Let's put things within 3 here.
Come back.
Let's say Ultron's within 3,
All right.
and then let's say Doc Ock is within 3.
Nailed it. About to get buildings.
Okay. So Spider-Man is our target. We may both spend any amount of power to play this card. So we both spend 2, both spend 1, both spend 3.
Say we spent 4 total, 2 each.
The enemy character loses power equal to the total amount spent.
Come on now. Writes
Sucker.
itself.
Yeah,
That's great.
the power's gone.
That's actually particularly good if you have like a very defensive character. Like I had a lot of power with Captain America, and the only reason he survived a couple rounds was because he could just shield up.
Yeah, keep using
And you're
that.
like, I'll take all your power, and then now we're gonna send Hulkan to smash you.
Yep. Very highly conditional card, which terrifies me, but a good one nonetheless. I think when it hits, it's going to hit really nicely.
Also, could be really good against Ultron, who has the like Age of Ultron, which we haven't covered that one yet, have we?
It's coming up right here.
All right, let's talk about
Let's read
that.
it. Age of Ultron, unaffiliated and reactive. If Ultron is KO'd, he may spend 8 power. It's got to be on him. 3, 6.
You got it.
7,
Pile,
8.
which he gets to surprisingly fast.
Yeah, and I was powering him up pretty well with Red Skull's stuff.
When we were playing, I was just like, "There's no way he's gonna get to." Oh my goodness, he's at 8.
I mean, if you think if you just don't spend the power from getting
He will have
injured,
it on
he'll
his
have
second
it.
form,
Right?
unless he gets suckered.
Ultron is not removed from the battlefield. Instead, he removes all special conditions, flips to his healthy side, removes all damage, drops all objection tokens, and is placed within 3 of his current location.
It's crazy.
Within 3. I mean,
He moves. He just rises.
he recombines, you know. He's got his thing.
This is one of the most insane tactic cards in the set. So if he doesn't spend his power and you don't have Sucker to drain it, or some other ability to get rid of his power, to take him off the board, you would have to knock him out 4 times,
Yes.
which you just won't do.
You're just never going to touch him. I think if they're holding that card,
Yeah.
you probably, I don't know.
But that's where it's like, this is the,
Not the
okay, Ultron's
scholars.
injured, I'm holding this card, you're never going to attack him.
You technically shouldn't attack him, yes. Unless you need to drop that objective.
Unless, I mean, I can knock him out too, right?
Your own self?
I can throw a
Allied?
garbage can at him. Or
You can
something.
never target an allied character in this game.
But you can throw a garbage can.
Never target an allied character.
You're not targeting him, but like if this was here and that was Spider-Man.
If he just happens to be in the way, I suppose you could.
Because like technically, if I'm trying to throw this garbage can at Cap,
Can you believe what it's like to play a game with Zach? You understand? Like I would never. It's like, hey, can I give you a 1% nuanced, insane way that this might actually work?
I'm just trying to think it through, like because technically Spider-Man could throw this garbage can at Cap,
Yeah,
and it would hit him
yes,
first.
That's right.
And then if
I
he
think
only
that-
had
I
1
think
health
that
left,
is- I think that is true.
or
think that
you
is
know
true.
a couple health left, I suddenly accidentally knocked him out.
I think that is true.
Let's flip to healthy.
Hold on, let me see. Let me just see.
I mean, not that it really matters over much because like
Oh, it matters.
I mean, but the difference between a healthy and an injured Ultron is not significant, right? So why would I really do that? Besides just to bend the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. The first terrain feature or character contacted or overlapped by the movement tool suffers the effects of a collision. That's it. Wow, good. All right. So if you need to, you can bash Ultron with the trash can.
Yep.
Or any.
Or
if you have
like-
an injured side that's better than a healthy side, you could start rocking. If you want to hurt Hulk so that he gets more powerful.
Well, and
that's-
don't you have the thing where it's like, I thought you could injure yourself to gain power somehow with one of your cards at some point?
yeah, I think Red Skull can do that. Gain 3 and then roll and you damage yourself.
But he could do that on Ultron to try to get Ultron to damage himself?
he can only do that one on himself.
Okay, I felt like there was some ability.
It maybe was a team tactic card where
Yeah.
you got...
I'm just saying, you can get clever.
Clever is a good word for it, for sure.
Positive spin.
Trip Up is the final one here.
right.
Unaffiliated reactive card. When an allied character targets an enemy character with an attack during its activation, and the target character is then 2 of another allied character. All right, so this is the word soup
gosh.
that these cards bring to the table. I need an allied character, I need an enemy character, and I need another allied character within 2 of the target.
All right. Spidey's the allied character. This is the within 2 character.
Okay. The allied characters may spend 1 each to play this card.
All right, Cap and Spidey.
Boom.
Spinning 1.
If the target character is dealt damage by this attack, after it resolves, it suffers stun and stagger.
Wow. Stagger is the first thing you have to do is unstagger.
You must shake the stagger, and then you are stunned until you shake that one.
What's stun mean?
Stun means anytime you would gain power, you only gain 1.
Wow.
So like if you do a strike and you would gain 3 power, only 1.
All right.
That's it.
So basically, if Spider-Man's attacking Doc Ock and Cap is with any other characters within 2, you can trip up. You hit, they take a stagger and a stun. That's really strong.
That's really strong. If you hit. You have to be dealt damage by the attack.
Just don't move.
That's the key.
If I throw you into Cap, does that count?
If you throw me into Cap, that's a guaranteed 1 damage, yeah.
That works?
Yeah, as long as it's an attack.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. The
It's an
throw
attack,
is doing
right?
the damage and not the like collision that's after the throw. You know what I mean?
Now, see, attack in this game, I believe, is very specific. It's got to be these abilities.
Yep, that
right?
makes sense.
So these top 3 are attacks.
The throw down here is not an attack.
It's not as a superpower. I don't believe that's an attack.
I
is it?
agree with you. I'm on board with this.
Great.
Yep, we did it.
I gotta get airtight on these rules. There are all sorts of exceptions going to pop up.
So it's really good that we did this because I think in the game we're about to play, we're going to draft characters and we're also going to draft these cards. So knowing what all these do is very helpful.
That's right. Let's get into that. Let's see, does chat have any particular questions about anything?
Tactic cards. Or about Crisis Protocol. Or about Marvel Champions.
I've seen some things come up. One of them is sleeving these cards. These are postcard size.
They surely have things to put postcards in, right?
Is there any postcard sleeves?
There probably are.
Is that even real?
I mean, there's like stamp collectors, so I just have to assume there's like...
I'll tell you one thing. If nobody is making sleeves in this size, we're going to get on the phone tonight and produce our own sleeves in this size and capture the entire Crisis Protocol market.
Are we?
Yeah. If nobody's doing it, these cards need to be sleeved, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Bryce. Yeah, we need to sleeve these boys.
All right.
Any other questions? Anyone have any?
The Dark Prince says there are top loaders that are that size.
Ooh, you got to put these in top loaders.
Yeah,
Oh my
sense.
gosh, can you imagine?
Chris Bates says, I love you guys.
Click,
right back
clacking
at you,
around.
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Thank you. Cold pizza, knowing the cards before you play is always good. Yep, agreed.
That's what I think as well.
Let's see if we have any other.
We had a lot of chat rolling through. It's awesome you guys are hanging out with us here on Monday. We're looking forward to playing this full game. It's
Eddie
gonna
Hart
be
says,
exciting.
how many cards can you have? Is it just one?
How many tactic cards?
Yep.
You start with 8, and then you draft, or you
bring 8
basically
to the
cut
game.
that down to 5 at the beginning of the match. And we're going to go through that in this next video here in just a second. A lot of good comedy there.
There's a lot of good
I'll tell you what, chat is just a bunch of funny people. Is it true that people attracted to our channel just have a great sense of humor?
I would go on record of saying that. Yeah.
That's just how this works? Funny people love
Someone
this
asked-
channel.
yeah, I'm not going to go there. How big are they compared to Transformers TCG cards? The character cards?
Do you have one over there, Bryce? You got a Transformers
I'd say grab one off my
card?
desk, but there's a wall in there.
Are they also postcard size?
No.
The old Transformers ones?
They're different shaped than that. Bryce is looking.
No, I don't think any would be in there.
Magic. There's a box set around forever.
We might get that in the interim
All
and
right.
then come back with that
we could add that to our measuring blog. We did a blog with all the
Yes.
measurements from the core set. So it's the size of the buildings and the bases and the models and the templates and stuff. So that would be a pretty good thing to have measured.
Somebody surely, can we Google search size of Transformers card? Because these are what, 4x6? That's what a postcard is, right?
Sure.
These are got to be 4x6.
I'll let them Google it.
Yeah.
These are 4x6. So how it compares, you can look it up.
Guess we'll find out.
5 by 5.
3.5 by 5.
Is what a Transformers card is.
So 4x6. So it's in 0.5 and an inch.
Yeah.
0.5 taller on the side and an inch longer.
Right. So it won't work for those sleeves. Bummer.
Yeah.
Here we are, though. All right, let's get to this next one.
Wait, hold on. I got a question, or a few. Hello, love these videos. Thank you, Aleph.
Awesome. Yeah.
Sorry I'm late, maybe. Already answered. If so, feel free to ignore. How many tactic cards are you allowed to have? Do you buy it with threat?
That'd be cool if you did. You bring 8, and then you can have 5. Buy it with threat. That'd be sick.
I wish that...
That's what I suggested in the podcast.
Side note, I won't be shocked if they eventually have cards that have point costs.
Yeah.
That's just kind of a complexity to add up front that you probably don't need.
Yeah, it's
These
fair.
are maybe just all the zero costs.
I'd like it if they all just said 0 on it, and then it's like, oh, well, we at least know that eventually they can use that mechanic rather than introducing it. But hey,
We'll get over it.
let's play a game.
All right, we're going to cut this stream and come back with a full game of Crisis Protocol.
We'll be right back. We cannot wait to see you here, and until literally 5 to 10 minutes from now, keep playing.
Or